Hey! Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Did you have a good Christmas? Did you have a good 2024? Well, I sure did. I think it was pretty fun. 2024, what a great year for movies, by the way. Come on, let's give it a round of applause for all the movies, including the bad ones. These right here, these were terrible. But anyways, today, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the top 10 best movies of 2024.
You are my sunshine, my only sun.
Now, this is personally my list, so you might not agree.
Shut up, bitch!
If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like on this video, and also comment down below what else you guys want to see from this channel. I'm trying to do some new things. Might be doing a NFL bracket, NFL playoffs, hashtag Go Lions. But anyways, let's just get right into the video. Now, this is one of the movies. I always have to add like a child, like not a child movie, but like one of those like family-friendly movies on here. Because most of the movies that I go see are PG-13, like rated R, stuff like that. Like, because that's what I'm into. This movie really stood out to me. It's Despicable Me 4. Now, I went to go see this with my campus ministry back in like July or June, whenever it came out. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. You have Steve Carell and everybody on the main cast coming back, Miranda Cosgrove, all the great stuff. And they did an excellent job in this movie. Will Ferrell as the villain is absolutely a perfect choice for this. I mean, he really killed it being the villain of this movie. I was also pleasantly surprised by how cohesive the story was and how easy it was to follow. So in this movie, Maxine is being held in a maximum prison for trying to seek revenge on Gru from stealing his act in the talent show way back when, which I think is a nice villain arc for this franchise. It's really funny, it puts it into place. But whenever he escapes, he tries to go and attack Gru's son and make him a cockroach, which is so funny. Like, it's just so funny. The movie plays off of that super well, and I think the plot it goes so smooth. Even if I could see where it was going right about at the 30-minute mark or so and how it was going to pan out. But overall, I was really happy of how this movie turned out and how much fun I was having with it as well, just watching it with a couple friends. And in a theater with no children, actually. But overall, it was a great surprise this year, and that's why it's on my top 10 list. At number 10, I'm going to have to give it a solid 7 out of 10, just because I could kind of know where it was going. I really want to give it an 8, but the first film is always going to be an 8 for me, so I can't put it above that first film. Having absolute knowledge of the Mad Max saga, as they like to call it, I had no idea what I was getting into with Furiosa, a Mad Max story. And honestly, whenever I left my couch from watching this, I was really confused at first. I was so lost by who the characters were and what all this was meaning and tying into the first movie and what all was going on. But after the first Mad Max movie, I have to say this movie's really good and really interesting, in my opinion. If you don't know, Furiosa is a prequel to Mad Max and gives us a backstory on what I think is one of the more interesting characters in this kind of whole franchise thing, or saga as they like to call it. Furiosa. You get to learn about how she became a leader. It became a statement of brutality in this kind of like desert kind of malicious area. And it's honestly just fun to sit back and watch the violence ensue. In Fortnite, of course. Do not consume violence. It is bad for you. But I was also very surprised by how they tell the story and how complex it is when you get to sit down and actually think about it. And whenever you get to actually like sit down and watch the movies together, it really tells a cohesive story. Although it is still kind of confusing on some of the things, and there's also inconsistencies that I noticed after watching some reviews. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and I have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. But, I mean, these next few movies, they're probably, they're going to be about 8 out of 10s. So, on to the next one. switching the narrative completely off of this, we're going to go with one of my favorite movie genres. Probably besides, superheroes. I mean good superhero movies. Not these. Please, God, no. Biopics. Yes. I absolutely love biopics.
Gay!
Elvis in 2021 was my top movie of the year. And for good reason. I mean, look at this. This guy looks great. I mean, he looks fantastic. Priscilla was also in my top 5 of 2023 last year, along with Napoleon. They were both just really fantastic movies and tell really great stories, which is why I'm putting this biopic on here, this documentary/musical, piece by piece, bro. Piece by piece, the Pharrell Williams Lego Movie. It was actually really good. From what I saw, so many people actually forgot that this came out this year, and how much of a gem of a movie this is. The soundtrack is peak after 35 years of Pharrell Williams music and everything like that. This is just peak soundtrack. The design of this movie is fantastic as well. The Legos fit in exactly with Pharrell's style of like songs and things like that. So I thought it fit really well. The only complaint that I have really about this movie is that I think that they should have, instead of Lego, they should have done like an actual biopic, kind of like Napoleon and Elvis and things like that. That way we could see, kind of what Pharrell went through rather than just kind of toning it down into like a kid's sort of like, hey, this guy made music. He kind of went through all this stuff. But overall, I think it's a really good story to tell, and especially on Lego. And that's why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. On to the next one. Okay. Horror thriller time. Alright? I had the option to either see this next movie or Am I Racist? I saw Speak No Evil because I know the answer to the question to the other one, to the other movie gives. I am not racist. So, what better way to spend an afternoon than watching a horror film by myself? I nearly shit. This movie's intense. Alright? This is a story about a family that goes on vacation and is invited to live with James McAvoy. Okay. Who wouldn't want to live with James McAvoy? Oh, why? Okay. Sorry. I'll stop. So this family begins realizing that as they go along, kind of staying at this house, there's something not right here. Patty, James McAvoy's character, begins being verbally abusive towards their child, who literally can't speak because he doesn't have a tongue. They say that he was born without a tongue, which is, as you get along in the story, you're kind of figuring out what's going on here and why this is going on. The mom is becoming very controlling and just has freakouts. But as the movie goes along, and you're solving this mystery of what's going on with this kid. Why are they acting so weird? Why are they trying to keep this family here? Why does this feel awkward? But whenever that is revealed and all hell breaks loose, you are stuck in your seat and you don't want to leave that theater or your chair because it is so good and it's so intense. I think this is honestly a great intro to horror thriller type genre. If you're looking for like a spooky movie to watch on Halloween, but you're not like, I don't want to get scared like The Shining or like watch It because I'm afraid of clowns, I think this is the perfect movie for that. It does have a little bit of jump scares, but not too many to the point where you're like, oh my goodness, like I can't watch. But overall, this is such a good movie, and I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. I would definitely go watch this film if you haven't already. On to the next one. Okay. 2 horror films back to back? What is this list? As I was writing this whole script right here, which is what I'm reading, this movie actually popped in my head that it actually came out this year. And I was like, kind of thinking back, I was like, this movie actually came out this year? What? There's no way. So I think it's fitting that it goes in the number 6 spot, and that is Alien Romulus. This movie scared the living crap out of me. I mean, if anybody has seen the Alien movies, you know that the spaceship that they're on is freaky in the first movie. I have never seen the first movie, so I didn't know what to expect. So this spaceship that they go on is just super scary, and you don't know what's really going on, and you're trying to figure it out. But then whenever the alien pops out and things start get going, it gets going, and it gets going really good. The one thing that I would say about this movie is that the characters aren't stupid. They're not really getting each other killed. They're actually trying to help each other out to stay alive. Unless there's, except for this like stupid one scene where this guy literally leaves to go on the ship with the alien and gets himself killed. But that's besides the point. If you haven't seen the first film, I would definitely go and watch the first film and then this one. And this one makes a lot more sense. But this film is so action-packed, horror to the teeth. And I think it's a fantastic introduction into like horror, because it's not really scary, but it's also kind of scary. But I was ultimately scared by the end, and I was walking out. I was like looking around, trying to figure out what in the heck is going on. But I give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. Go watch it, and it earns a Hypnotic solid seal of approval. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled movie ratings. The Fall Guy. What a great action movie. Can we talk about this? This is a movie about a stunt double who miraculously gets into an accident in the set of a shoot of a movie. And after that, he just kind of disappears. But after he disappears for a while, this girl that he liked a long time ago whenever he's working on these movies is said to call him back and say, hey, we want you to stunt double in this movie. And he's like, oh my goodness, okay, I guess I have to do this. So he goes and does it, but to find out that the actual actor that he is stunt doubling for is missing for like 2 weeks, I think. And he's got to go find him. But what you don't notice is that they're trying to plan this all out so that he did it. The stunt double did it. And he's got to figure out like, hey, I'm innocent and I got to show you why. And I think it's a really great movie to show about this. I thought Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt did an excellent job in the movie. And they kept me engaged throughout the entire movie as well. I was impressed by the visuals, the sound design, and the set design as well. For a movie film about a movie, it does a job well done and deserves a watch. I give it a solid 8 out of 10 and a solid seal of approval. Yet again, I would definitely go and watch this over and over again. Austin Butler. He keeps coming out with bangers, and it just keeps working. And it just keeps working for me. I don't know what it is about Austin Butler, but he is just so freaking hot.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Breaking news, UK! A second plane has hit the South Tower.
Bike Riders. Did anybody remember this movie coming out this year? Because I did, and it was great. This is a great story about the unique biker club that turns into a leading gang. Austin Butler and Tom Hardy do an excellent job in this movie. I mean, they pulled it out of the water with this movie. The only complaint that I really do have in this movie is that there would have been more after when it ended. I wanted to see kind of the gang part. You didn't really see that. You just kind of saw him shoot a guy, and that was about it. But overall, I think it's a great movie. I definitely would recommend it if you watch it. It is kind of a biopic, but it's about a member of people turning into one of the leading gangs, I think, still today. But this is an 8 out of 10, though, and I highly recommend it. All right. We gotta talk. Okay. this next pick is very controversial to 2024. And I get it. I get it. I really, really do. But I think that this movie showed so much more than what people are showing, and Slash actually wanted in this movie. And yes, I'm talking about Madam Web. Madam Web was so good. So good. Dog, what? No, we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about Joker, Folie à Deux. This is my most anticipated movie of this year. And while it was not this big action-style thriller that I was expecting, I was still very happy with the final product. You see, Joker tells the story of Arthur Fleck, who's in the dumps of Gotham, and no one really seems to understand what he's there for. He's just kind of has this mental disorder, and people just kind of sit there and laugh at him. He's just a clown. And so finally, one day, he just snaps. And people start to notice him. This movie tells us that when you treat people with such disrespect, they'll do anything to get seen. It doesn't matter what you do. You never know who's going to be the next serial killer. And that's why you should always treat people with kindness and respect. This movie tells us the consequences of not doing that. I feel like it really spoke to me of how I should treat other people and how I should look at them and be like, if I treat this person this way, this could go really badly. But if I treat them this way, that could lead them to a life that's everlasting. I feel like. If this tells the consequences of those actions to a person like this. If they go down this path with a bad crowd and bad people around them and tell them, hey, it's okay that you killed somebody because they were scum of the earth. It's okay. That person will be forced into whatever and wherever they want them to go. And it could lead them down a dark path. Our society today tells us that, hey, you need to be of our values and of our opinions, otherwise you got to get out of our squad. You're not a part of the Bobby clan. Like, come on, get out of here. And I really think that Todd Phillips tells an excellent story here, that if you're constantly looking for the opinions of others, you lose who you really are, and you can't ever fight back from it. Joaquin Phoenix does an excellent job. Lady Gaga does an excellent job as their roles. They do a fantastic job. And I think the musical aspect of this shows a lot more than what we're letting on to. And I think this movie needs more praise rather than it getting hated on for being a musical and being this kind of low drama type consequence movie that's really not the Joker that we wanted. Honestly, from the first movie, Arthur Fleck cannot be the clown prince for crime. There is just no way. There's no way. And that's how it ends up. And we see that. And so I think this entire movie is about our society and how we can act towards each other. Be nice to people. Because you never know what they're going through and you don't know what they have gone through. So, for the first time ever on this channel, this movie will get a 9 out of 10 and a Symphonic Seal of Approval stamp. This is one of the best movies. Top 3 best movies of this year. And I think that everybody should go watch it again. And with that mindset. Alright. We knew it was going to be on this list. I had said it before. Superhero movies are my thing. And Deadpool and Wolverine is that movie. What else can I say about this movie that hasn't already been said? I mean, come on. The cameos in this movie. The plot of this movie. The villain of this movie. Hugh Jackman coming back. Ryan Reynolds plays his part well. I mean, this movie is just Marvel Cinematic Universe at its finest. It even makes fun of its own self and saying that the whole, like, meta-universe type thing is it's not great. It's not great. It's not great how it's going. This whole multiverse thing, we got to cut it off. And Marvel knows that. And they said it in this movie. And it works perfectly. I think if this is the last like multiverse movie that we get, I think this is a good one to end on. And that's why it is going to get a 10 out of 10 with a Hypnotic seal of approval. I would definitely go watch this one. I've watched this one 7 times, along with 2 times on Disney+. And I think it's one of the better movies this year. But it's not quite number 1. What is our number 1 movie, by the way? Christopher Reeve will always be Superman. No matter what. No matter if this new Superman coming out does well, Christopher Reeves will always be Superman. This movie, I told you I like biopics. This movie told the story of Christopher Reeves and how he worked as Superman. He was Superman in his life, he was Superman in his acting, but near the end of his life, he was still Superman. He still gave people hope, and he's still fighting today, I believe. This movie really kind of taught me something about disabilities and what you should actually be fighting for in this universe, in our world. Our entire I don't know where to put this. Christopher Reeves taught us that anybody can be Superman. No matter who it is, no matter who you are, you can always be a symbol of hope. And I think this movie perfectly captures it, and that's why it's at my top number 1 spot for this year. Well, that's all we have time for today. Those are my top 10 movies of 2024. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like on this video and share it to your other friends as well. Show them my, horrible picks, I guess, because I apparently have bad taste in movies. I don't know which one would make you think that one. But there are indeed some movies that I left off here. Dune 2. Twisters. I haven't seen Twisters. I'll never see Twisters. I hate you, Gwen Powell.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
Fly Me to the Moon. Argyle. So many movies that I wanted to see. If there are movies that you guys want me to review or anything like that, please link them down below in the in the comments, and I'll take a look at them and I'll watch them hopefully if they're free, because I don't want to pay for anything.
We do not care.
If you guys did, please leave a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, gamers.